Hey folks, welcome to another day, another unboxing, and today I've got the Moto G Stylus 5G. It's basically similar to the Moto G Stylus from earlier this year, but with 5G. So let's take a quick look. As you can see, this is what the box looks like. And then we've got Moto here, Moto there, nothing here, IMEI's down there. And in the back, it does have some info. So let's open it up. Dun, 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 dun. Nothing inside here. Here's the phone. Now we've got a little divider action here. Let's see what's inside. We've got legal safety, don't care. We've got a meet your Moto G Stylus. As you can see, there's 4 cameras in the back, a hole punch in the front, USB-C, micro SD, a stylus, obviously, that's the big deal. And there you go. Let's have a look in the back. And that's in Spanish. All right. Now there's a charger here. I believe it's a 10-watt charger, but I'll leave it up for us to figure out. Nothing too fancy. And then we have a USB Type A to Type C cable right there. Again, nothing too crazy here. And that's it for the box, folks. So let's have a look at the phone, shall we? Let's see if I can pull this out without having to, there we go. And there's the back. Ooh, you can see this is like a beautiful green emerald color. The stylus is already sticking out. There it is. So slightly improve over the stylus on the 4G because you don't have to think about which direction to slide it in. It just automatically finds its position. All you have to do is push it in and it automatically just rotates the right way, which is great. So let me give you a quick tour of the edges to start. There is a volume rocker here and a power lock key, right? Nothing too crazy. Keeps going down there. At the bottom here you have the stylus silo, a speaker, primary microphone, the USB Type-C connector and a headphone jack. On the right hand side you have the SIM tray, which also supports micro SD. And on top, you just have that secondary microphone right there. So that's basically the layout. Let's fire it up, turn it on. So one of the things you'll notice that's different from the G Stylus non-5G is that on the G Stylus non-5G, there was a fingerprint sensor embedded on the side and the power lock key, whereas this has the fingerprint sensor in the back right here, like many Moto phones have in the past. And then I'll talk about the cameras a little more in a minute. Ooh, check this out.
Hello, Moto.
Oh, hello, Moto. And so that thing shield you saw earlier is because, Moto is a Lenovo company. They have this security hardware and software solution that's baked into this phone. So that's the setup screen. I'm not going to set this up. This is just an unboxing, but you can see the earpiece up here and the front-facing camera. So this is a 16 megapixel f/2.2 camera with 1 micron pixels. Nothing too crazy. And then let's talk about the rear cameras real quick because they look really cool. This actually reminds me of the Realme 8 Pro actually. It's pretty cool. So there's 4 cameras here. 48 megapixel f/1.7 with 0.8 micron pixels. That's the main sensor. Then we have an 8 megapixel f/2.2 ultra wide with 1.12 micron sensors, and then we have a 5 megapixel macro f/2.2 with 1.12 micron pixels, and that should have autofocus based on previous macro cameras from Moto. I'll let you know right here. And then we have a depth sensor, a 2 megapixel f/2.4, 1.75 microns. It's very similar setup to what we saw on the original G Stylus, except that the camera pod is very different looking. Yeah, so I think this is a cool looking phone. As you can see, it's a nice emerald colored finish. I kind of like it. This display here is pretty big. It's a 6.8 inch 1080p panel, some sort of LCD. And yeah, it's got a bit of a chin though, but you kind of expect that at this price point. So yeah, speaking of price, it's $399, so essentially $400 here in the US, unlocked and available on a bunch of carriers as well. Sub-6 5G, this is a Snapdragon 480 5G. So as a point of reference, the 4G version of the G Stylus had a Snapdragon 768 So yeah, be interesting to see if the performance is up to scratch since it's a 400 series chip. But I expect it to be a lot better than the older 6 series chip on the 4G model. Options for RAM include 6 gigs, I believe, for this unlocked model. Some of the locked version will have 4 gigs. 128 gigs of storage or 256 gigs of storage, of course, micro SD as I mentioned. And the battery in here is pretty big. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour, and with this processor, it's just pretty efficient. It should last quite a while. So that's good news as well. And then, of course, 10-watt charging, no wireless charging here, but that's pretty much par for the course on this category. And of course, the stylus and some software improvements is really the story here. This is a capacitive stylus, as you can see, right? There's no fancy active stylus action going on here, but nonetheless, it does provide some interesting functionality according to Moto. So I'll have to check that out in my review. Stay tuned for that. So that's basically the gist of this phone. Snapdragon 480, 5G, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, quad camera in the back, big screen in the front, 6.8 inches. It's a pretty decent package, but you know, the pricing is reflecting the market this is for, the US, right? So, you know, you're going to probably say, oh, all these great $200, $250 5G phones from Asia are, why would you spend money on this? Well, you know, you want compatibility with US bands, you have to kind of adjust your expectations. So that's basically what we get here. It gives you a good perspective if you're watching this video from somewhere else. Anyway, folks, that's it. The Moto G Stylus 5G here on my channel. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the notification bell below. Tell me in the comments, would you buy this over the 4G version of the Moto G Stylus? Is it worth your while just to get 5G, or would you just, you know, not bother and spend less money, obviously, on the slightly cheaper model? And then, you know, stay tuned for the podcast, because I'll let you know what I think of this phone on the podcast. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify. mobiletechpodcast.com is the URL. Subscribe, tell your friends, and see me there. And of course, I'll have more videos soon, so stay tuned for that. Cheers, everybody.